The first week of the challenge is done, and now things are really starting to take shape. Last week I worked on the concept, the base layout and start modeling the scene. But now it's time to take a big step forward and turn this idea into something more solid. This is the second video out of 4, one for each week of the challenge to help anyone who, like me, want to take part in the Pwnisher challenge. So, if you want to see the full process of idea generation, concept art, pre-production and layout from the first week, the link to that video is in the description. But before we start, hit that subscribe button. Based on the schedule I created last week, I tried my best to stick to the plan. Basically, you have to look at the project as if it were a sculpture. You start with a giant rock, sketch out the rough idea and then start chipping away to reveal the primary shapes. Later, we'll focus on all the details. This week was all about defining the overall silhouette of the sculpture, gradually getting closer to what might be the final result. After setting up the layout last week, I started studying and truly understanding my references. One thing I heard over and over again during my courses was the importance of gathering references before starting any project. Sometimes it feels like a tedious process, but it's absolutely essential to get the best final result. And when I say gathering references, I don't mean just dumping a bunch of images into a document. It's about understanding every nuance, colors, details, reactions, effects, shapes, lighting, shadows, among other things. I analyzed how the Stadium of France looks, the colors of that historic moment I want to capture. And trust me, it's completely normal to not notice every little detail right away. In fact, I only realized 4 or 5 days into the modeling that I had forgotten to create an entrance for the stadium. I'll quickly go over the main elements I've worked on this week. But if you want a dedicated video on any of these topics, let me know. So, the main character. It is created in OMEN, an amazing tool for realistic human models that I highly recommend. I wanted him to look tired, like someone with experience in the field. The crowds. I used the incredible procedural crowds add-on, which allows for easy scattering of people in stadiums, by curves, vertices, etc. I just used the models from the add-on and tweaked the clothing textures in Photoshop, to make them look like fans from both teams. Security photographers and staff. Same process, adjust base textures and scatter them throughout the scene, following my references. Since these characters are super far from the camera, I could keep them rough and low poly without any issues. Stadium entrance. Midway through, I realized that players actually need a way to enter the stadium, so I added an entrance. Stadium textures. I kept it simple for areas far from the camera and added extra care to the closer elements. Foreground details. I wanted to create a more restricted, slightly dangerous vibe around the main character, so I added details like barriers. The textures were done quickly in Substance Painter, but I'm still not happy with the base it's standing on, so I will keep working on that. Also, midway through I had the genius realization that there's this tiny, almost unknown game out there, all about football. So I took a look at these details for reference. A bit late, but hey, better later than never. Lighting. Until now I was just using HDRI for basic visibility, but I turned it off and started placing lights to shape the scene's mood. Stadium lights at the top, focused lights on the main character. Later, with fog and post-processing, it will have way more contrast and color pop. Crowd flags and cloth simulation. I wanted the flags in the crowd to have slightly movement to feel more natural. That meant diving into cloth simulation. Wish me luck. Other stadium details. Added things like a camera behind the goalposts and scattered props like boxes and chairs. Again, these elements aren't perfect, but since they are far from the camera, that's totally fine. File organization. Keeping things organized is crucial with so many assets. Seriously, don't underestimate the power of a clean file structure. And that's it, here's the result of the second week of the CHASM'S CALL. Let me know what you think in the comments. In fact, I really appreciate it, your feedback helps me improve the project. Watch the animation, check out the shapes, colors and lighting, and tell me, how would you improve it? I'm all ears. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe. Next week I'll be back with an update for week 3. And for those of you participating in the challenge, deep breath, you are halfway there.